Hi, welcome back to West Coast Geeks. I'm your host, Joaquin. Today's video is a top 10 starting equipment for 5th edition D&D for starting characters. And you know who's with me.
Hey everyone.
Everyone indeed, it's Greg. So, our little top 10 equipment list is going by number one should be the first thing that you should buy, and then go through the rest of the list. And depending on your campaign and where you're starting, these are the starting items you should have. So let's get on
That's
with the
ba- that's
show.
that's backwards.
I mean, it's backwards. I should start
Supposed to start
number.
with 10.
I should start with 10. I did
You ever
start
see a
with 10.
top 10 list?
Yeah, then you go down to number one. Like number one's the first thing you should have.
Yeah, it goes from 10 to 1, right?
Yeah, we're good. There we go. All right, number
Okay.
10. Potion of Healing slash bottles. Potion of Healing. Type potion costs 50 gold pieces, weighs half a pound. A character who drinks the magical red fluid in this vial regains 2d4 plus 2 hit points. Drinking or administering a potion takes an action.
Why is this 10? There should be 1.
What do you mean? No, this is number 10. The reason why this is number 10 is because this is a one shot. So after you have it, then, you're going to have to get another one. But you can
Okay.
also use the
But then
bottle,
if you don't have it, then you die and then all your other things are lost.
but this is something you should get. But the number one is the first thing you should get. So, Potion of Healing, not much. It's like a no brainer if you have the gold to get it. Most starting gold, if you choose to roll the dice, you can get a whole bunch of things. If you don't, the odds are you are not going to have enough starting gold to even afford a potion of healing because they usually give you a kit, your starting class, and not your kit. I mean your starting class and your background. And usually you don't start out with a potion of healing or 50 gold. You have to be like wealthy or something. That's why it's number 10.
And always remember to keep the bottle.
Yes.
If you use it, then you add a bottle to your inventory.
Because you might come across other little magical sources or other liquids that you want to contain, and the first thing the DM's going to say is, "Well, what are you going to carry it in?" And you're going to be like, "Well, um, my bottle." And you're like, "Let me see your sheet," and then you're not going to have it on there. And be like, "But I had a potion of healing. I drank it. Did you say you kept the bottle?" Now that's kind of pushing it there. I would always give them the benefit of the doubt, but you should kind of indicate that you're keeping the not to the DM, but at least indicate in your inventory sheet. Number 9 is a mirror. So steel mirror doesn't have to be steel. Venturing gear costs 5 gold pieces, weighs half a pound. Still, a steel mirror is handy when you want to look around corners, signal friends with reflected sunlight. Keep an eye on Medusa. Make sure you look good enough to present yourself to the queen or examine wounds that you received on hard to see parts of your body. Now, D&D does not get into that type of taking care of your wounds, and I'm glad they don't, because that's just another aspect you really don't need to add. So what do
I don't know. This is kind of.
you don't like
Hmm.
you don't like a mirror for number 9?
I mean, what? I mean, you look around corners. Well, you have a cat for that. You
Yeah,
you
but
need
that's
to like.
you. What if you're a fighter? Not
Then you
everything's
got.
based on a mage. This ain't the top
Then,
10 equipment for mages.
then you got a nice shiny steel something to that you shine up and look around the corner with your weapon or your shield. I don't know.
No, that's why it's number 9. All right. So Greg doesn't really think you should have this, but I think you should, especially at first level. I think it comes in very handy more than you think. Number 8 is Manacles. Manacles. Type of
Yeah.
venturing gear costs 2 gold pieces, weighs 6 pounds. These metal restraints can bind a small or medium creature. Escaping the manacles requires a successful DC 20 dexterity check. Breaking them requires a DC 20 strength check. Each set of manacles comes with one key. Without the key, a creature proficient with these tools can pick the manacle locks with a successful DC 15 dexterity check. And they have 15 hit points if you're just going to bash it up with a rock.
Yeah,
So, Greg,
these are quite helpful. I mean, this is a bit of metagaming, but think about every adventure you've ever been on. How many people do you come across that either you can't trust, or that a villain surrenders to you, or you have you have a quest where you have to go locate the criminal.
mm-hmm.
It's just it comes up all the time.
Yep.
It's better than rope
So,
for tying people up.
yep. So that's why it's number 8. All right, number 7 is another item that all adventurers should have at first level. Number 7 is chalk. Chalk, one piece, adventuring gear, costs 1 copper, weight practically nothing, but it does have some weight. A piece of chalk used for writing and marking on various surfaces. So, Greg, you ever use
Um,
chalk? You ever bought chalk at the beginning?
oh yeah, chalk's quite important, especially for rogue classes, bard classes, rogue classes, druid classes. They're useful for because you get any of the classes that have their special language. You get to like leave marks communicating to just those people. It's better when there's like urban settings, or when you're in a cave and you need to mark which way to go, which way to find your way back.
Yeah. No, I mean in the original D&D, that's exactly what you used it for. It was mostly like you're going down into caves and you put some little mark down because it helped you not get lost. So, but there's a few other things. You can also buy a whole bunch of chalk and break it up to like a fine powder and blow that in
Yeah, the
someone's
chalk dust.
face. Yeah, so there are little things you can do on the fly, but you have to have a lot of chalk, people. If you just
Hmm.
tell me you just break up your one or two chalk pieces and do that, the chances of them blinding won't be that high as compared to a lot of chalk. All right, number 6, all-time favorite. Everybody usually gets this at first level. The grappling hook. So, grappling hook, adventuring gear, costs 2 gold pieces, weighs 4 pounds. When tied to the end of a rope, a grappling hook can secure the rope to a battlement, window ledge, tree limb, or other protrusion. And as you can see, you have this explorer going down the side of it. He's spedunking.
Yes. Do we remember to buy rope to go along with this, or else you say I throw my grappling hook across, and then the DM says, "Okay, you threw
Mm-hmm.
it across,"
Yeah,
and then
that
you're like, "Now
that
I'm going to
is
climb on the rope." They're like, "What rope?"
yeah. Well, maybe that's the
Just
reason why it's number 6. It's these are optional things. Like the lower we get down, these are the things that you should have. All right. So grappling hook can also be used in other ways too. You can you can throw it on a creature that's flying away. I mean, probably not the best thing to do, but you can. You can also grappling hook your friend who goes into the river. I mean, you might take a point or two of damage, but hey, at least you got him.
I mean,
So
you- you'll know which campaigns this is good for. This
yeah,
is also like urban environments, and caves are probably the better. You don't
hmm
really need it in a forest
yeah, you don't really need it in a forest, but you
or like
can
desert
do some
plains
clever
or
things
something.
with it, in a forest. All right, moving on to number 5, probably one of Greg's all-time favorites. Number 5 is the ball bearings or bag of ball bearings. I couldn't find a D&D picture of it, so there you go. Ball bearings, bag of 1,000 ball bearings, adventuring gear, costs 1 gold, weighs 2 pounds. As an action, you can spill these tiny metal balls from their pouch to cover a level 10 square area that's 10 feet on a side. A creature moving across the covered area must succeed on a DC 10 saving throw or fall prone. A creature moving through the area at half speed doesn't need to make the save.
By the way, this is the most ridiculous, like what you get for what the price is gear.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to exploit it, like 1,000 ball bearings. Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's made of steel. You could probably make a short sword out of it if you have the ability to craft, or you have a blacksmith friend.
Or at least a dagger.
Yeah, and then you get to throw it on the ground, or you get to like you know tie it in a bucket with some string so that they come across. It's a trip over trap. Rolls over. It's very good on stairs.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
very good
especially
on stairs.
especially when you put it on that first step as they're not necessarily looking down, and they're like, "Whoa!" So yeah, this is really good trap material. The only downfall is that it's usually a one shot item. Most of the time,
Right,
you're not going back to collect your ball bearings.
but it's
But
pretty
at one
cheap.
gold piece, every time you go into a new village or definitely a town or a city, they'll have one. And you don't have to
You,
use all. You just tell the DM like I'm using 100 ball
yeah,
bearings, and that should help cover a little area. But
and
um,
find
you
a
know,
catapult. It's a
it's
good thing to use in catapults.
yeah, all kinds of there. Every piece of D&D equipment can be used in a creative fashion.
You
That's
have a
why
bird that could carry 1 pound worth of something.
good
Just
ammunition
aerial
for your
aerial
slingshot.
bombard area control.
I
Yeah,
guess if you can get that bird. Now we're gonna bust into the Mighty Python bit. Like, how much can a sparrow carry? Well, how about it's like, no, we're not gonna go there because there's probably a lot of new viewers who are younger and be like, who exactly? All right, so
well,
number
if
four.
you could carry a coconut, you can carry 1 pound of ball bearings.
That is true. Number four, oil flask. Um, oil flask. Adventuring gear. One silver piece, 1 pound. Oil usually comes in a clay flask. I know I didn't find the right image for that, so I used the same one for the potion. As an action, you can splash the oil. You can also use it in glass too. You can splash the oil in a flask into a creature within 5 feet of you or throw it up 20 feet, shattering it on impact. Make a ranged attack against a target creature or object. Treating the oil as an improvised weapon, on a hit, the target is covered in oil. If the target takes any damage before the oil dries after 1 minute, the target takes an additional 5 damage from burning oil. You can also pour a flask of oil on the ground to cover a 5 foot square, provided that the square is level. If lit, the oil burns for 2 rounds and deals 5 damage to any creature that enters or ends its turn in the area. A creature can take this damage only once per turn. So, Greg,
Yeah. So first off, you can tell that whoever wrote this has never changed their own oil or cooked with oil because it doesn't just dry up in a minute.
yeah,
But I mean,
we are
it's
talking
good
D&D
for
campaign
making
now.
things slippery, and it's good for setting things on fire.
Yep. Also,
Um,
for you veteran players, when you first fight a troll, you do not have experience for fighting a troll. Stop trying to go, I get my oil flask and throw it at him.
yeah,
Yeah, Greg went silent. Him and his group would do that. But wouldn't we hear about trolls? You might have heard about trolls, but you wouldn't know how to fight them. And you wouldn't know that their weakness was fire. Stop it, your first level. You don't know about everything in the world yet. All right.
sure.
Number three, another Greg's favorite is Caltrops. You get a bag of 20. Now, these are easier to pick back up and reuse again. Cost one
Yeah,
gold piece, weighs 2 pounds. As an action, you can spend a bag of Caltrops to cover a square that is 5 feet on any side. Any creature that enters the area must succeed on a DC 15 dexterity saving throw or stop moving this turn and take 1 piercing damage. Taking this damage reduces the creature's walking speed by 10 feet until the creature regains at least 1 hit point. Excuse me. A creature moving through the area at half speed does not need to make the save because they see them. So,
right.
Greg has used these in my campaign on several occasions. So, What's your favorite use of caltrops?
First, I'm gonna say you want to buy them in twos, groups of 20 instead of 10, because usually you'll be maybe more because their best thing is to use them for is the getaway device. If you need to get away and you have multiple things that are going to chase you, everyone in the party has one. And as they run, they just drop them, so they form like a line. Because they then all those things coming after you are going to start going half speed and can't start going full speed until they start healing. So that's like the best use for them. Can also, if you're being surrounded, put them out there as speed traps. That's what they are. They're speed bumps. Think of them as speed bumps.
Yeah.
They won't actually do much damage.
Nope. Also, they are effective for nighttime guarding your passage. When you lay down a camp, you can put some down in one area.
Oh,
Especially if it's like a trail, a well-used trail or something where um, you think creatures might come down. You can and then in the woods, you could cover them up a little bit, so it'd be harder for them to see. There's different ways you can use caltrops. So
and if you're like on the more criminal side of things, it's a good way to set up an ambush on a road or in an alleyway.
yep, you're trying to control where people go. All right, so number two is a must-have. Otherwise, what's the point of being an adventurer? Two is sacks. A sack, and you should buy more than just one sack. Costs one copper piece, people. One copper piece. Weighs half a pound. A sack can hold 1 cubic feet or 30 pounds of gear. I will not stress that you should at least have 3 to 5 sacks. Like, how many sacks do you usually buy, Greg?
I usually start with five at least.
Yeah, I tend to go around that. Um, you can there's so many different things you can do with them. You can also use it as a hood once you've captured your prisoner. Um, because when you stumble upon all this treasure, until you get the bag of holding, how are you going to carry all this treasure back? So bags are good. You can attach them to your backpacks. Um, which brings us to
No, it's
number.
also extremely useful to alter other things that you have, such as, I don't know, those glass bottles I told you to keep.
Yep.
Just put some of the glass bottles into a sack, take your war hammer and start smashing it on the ground or with your foot or something, and you get a whole bunch of glass powder. Now, imagine you throw that glass powder in someone's eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's gonna
probably hurt.
blind them.
Yeah, but the ball bearings aren't glass. But yeah, you could get glass balls and glass stuff to break. All right, so that brings us up to number one. And this answers the question about your grappling hook is an explorer's pack. Explorer's pack costs 10 gold pieces, weighs 59 pounds, includes a backpack, a bedroll, a mess kit, a tinderbox, 10 torches, 10 days of rations, a water skin. The pack also has 50 feet of hemp rope strapped to it. So
Yep.
I asked Greg to make a list, and he put rope, but then I scratched that out, and I was like, no, you just start off with the Explorer pack. Most adventuring kits allow it, but I mean, most adventuring backgrounds allow you to have at least an Explorer's pack starting off. Um,
And the Dungeoneering pack is the other one that's pretty similar.
yeah,
That's useful.
the problem with like the dungeon pack is that hold on a second, get my book here. Is that it's not it's suitable for you to be going into dungeons like where the explorer's pack gives you stuff that you're going to be traveling to get to the dungeon. I guess that's the best way to explain it. And like
They both have rope, and the
well, they
rope's the
both
important
have
part.
rope, but the explorer's pack really does one up it. Okay, so the dungeons pack has, besides the backpack, it's a crowbar, a hammer, 10 pintons or 10 torches, a
Cons.
tinderbox, 10 days of rations of water skin, and 50 feet of rope. Where the Explorer pack has the bedroll. And as a DM, you could always um, tell them, "Well, were you sleeping?" And if you don't have a comfortable bedroll, maybe they don't sleep that well that night. I don't know. I mean, that'd be messed up. But either way,
No, no, absolutely do that.
that's what
No, I'm
I.
serious. Absolutely. If it gets cold out that night, oh, you have coldness.
Yeah,
You're suffering from a point of exhaustion.
yeah, that
Then
is
they'll
true.
then they'll buy a bedroll real quick.
Yeah. The other thing to once you get your bag of holding, then you start buying stuff like tents and stuff. But that's it. This is our top 10 list for first players, first level
Every
characters for equipment
everything
list.
everything has a creative use for it. So I mean, I've had a bar 1 pound bar of soap in my backpack be the most useful item to me once. So that was just be creative in what you can do.
Exactly. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will catch you next week. I don't know what topic we're going to do because I'm kind of like, we're building up a first level like guide. So we have like the top 10 uncommon magical items, but this is going to be the first video right here. And we're going to be doing some other videos, and so I want to set it up to where if you're new to D&D, you can just watch these videos that I'm going to be setting up in a playlist. And you're like, oh, okay, we're going to be talking about characters and how to build characters and what equipment you should get. Even when you're like first or second level, a lot of these items are still going to be very useful for you. So that'll do it, people. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, hello. And if you made it this far, give us a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the content, subscribe so you won't miss a video. And we'll catch you later.
All right, see you, everyone.